Hi folks, it's Gino Gang. I'm happy to be able to bring you the drive-by shootings, meet the candidates for selectmen this year. Want to just briefly let you know that if you'd like to advertise on Channel 17 and on your website and on Facebook, we make 2-minute videos and 15-second videos that are very effective. We're only going to take so many this year because last year we were so busy and we've been growing so quickly. So get on, get in, and we're here for you. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you real soon.
That's okay. Easy, girl. Easy. Get back.
All right.
How you doing?
Good, good. How you doing?
Good to see you. Okay, go on. Go lay down, girl. Go on. Get back there.
All right. Lucky for you, it's foggy, so I can't do my work. But anyway.
Really? I'm late by 20 minutes. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I got a crazy day. I'm also doing a piece on these guys with the chopper.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll be doing that as soon as I drop you off.
Perfect.
So,
maybe I'll go over there with you. I haven't worked on a chopper in 20 years.
What do you mean working on choppers?
Worked for petroleum
Well,
helicopters.
what do you do here? What's your job here?
Take care of all the nav aids and communications in the tower. So I'm trying to do my monthly inspection, or actually a quarterly inspection on the ILS. But I need the fog to lift first, so I can take
On
it
the
out.
ILS?
Yep.
What does that mean?
Instrument landing system.
Oh, so you're a tech guy?
Tech guy.
Are you?
Yeah.
Did you go
I'm
to
an
school?
everything. I'm an everything guy.
Okay.
We live on Nantucket, so we have to do it all.
You got it, man. And now look what you're gonna do. Are you sure you want to do this, Cliff?
I don't know. Maybe
All right.
I'll
Huh?
You can be my second in command. When I get tired, you can take up.
No, I don't think so.
Slack.
I'm gonna let you. No, I give that to somebody else. I got enough to do. So,
Oh, you got questions?
sure do. Everybody gets the same questions, just so you know.
Awesome.
Okay. So, first question: why are you running? Is this your third try?
It's third try.
Why are you running, Cliff?
Why am I running? Because just like I learned, I've been kind of forced to be in unions over my career. But if you're going to, I guess, complain or I guess criticize, then you need to get involved. You need to participate. You need to, you know. And plus, everybody, the form of government we have, whether it's town or state, local, federal government, you know, it's supposed to be the people who are running the government. And yeah, I don't think we do that as much as we used to, probably 100 years ago.
Okay.
So I'm getting involved, find out where all my money goes, my tax money goes,
Do you
where
think,
your tax money goes.
hey, we appreciate it, man, because I think a lot of people wonder about that.
There you go.
Right? Well, what's your background and why do you feel qualified to be on the Board of Selectmen?
I'm a taxpayer. I've done everything. I've lived here when I was younger. I scalloped, I built houses, worked for corporate America. I have, you know, I deal with some rental property. So just like anybody else, I have a budget, and I have to live within my budget. So, you know, we have to learn to live within a town's budget.
So you think that makes you qualified?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Average guy, understands things. I'm not some expert, so, but I think I bring just some common sense as a person that works every day, has a family, has a mortgage, and you know, has those experiences to bring to the board.
Okay, well, I haven't asked other people this, but in your case, I think it makes sense. You've run through 3 times now. How have you changed, if any, as a candidate, from when you first started to where you are now? I think that would be.
Well, I've been lucky enough to be on the finance committee for the last 2 years, so now I've really learned how government works. Everybody talks about, this is a big business and really you can't run the town like a business because you'd be arrested. So, there's checks and balances. There's more transparency. It's not like it's a sole proprietorship where you can go out and just do what you want to do if you own a business. There's bidding processes. There's open meeting laws. We have a municipal calendar we have to follow as far as the money and preparing budgets and who's in charge of the money, or who's in charge of okaying the money, or voting for this, or voting for that, whether it's town meeting or it's selectmen's giving out a contract. So there's a lot to learn about how town government works.
And you think in those 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot. I still don't know, still don't feel like I know anything. And I've learned, the more I learn, the less I know.
Yeah, okay. Well, are you in favor of building the Madigan wind turbine?
I think that whole argument's coming down to basically, do you want wind turbines or you don't want wind turbines? Because I don't think it's financially viable as far as saving us any money. I think the wind turbines just barely pay for themselves from all the data I receive. Just the problem we have this year, as we had last year, on the FinCom, we asked to bring the real numbers for the windmill, and yet we haven't even selected what exact windmill we're going to get. And then we've had just a ton of information as far as from different towns throughout Massachusetts. One of the problems, one of many, was the foundation. Is the foundation going to be big enough to support, say, a Class 1 turbine? And they couldn't provide that information. Just things like that. So financially, from a standpoint as far as being on the FinCom, we just decided there wasn't enough information to make that decision, to make a commitment of $3 million.
Okay.
If it's only $3 million,
Okay.
it could be $5 million.
Yep. Are you in favor of protecting the Sconset bluff from erosion?
You know what? I've talked to some people. I've tried to follow that, and again, Arthur Reed brought some of that information in front of us at FinCom. I'd like to see just a small project tried to see just what the result would be.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't want to take up 1,000 feet of the bluff or anything else, but I can see a lot of people just think nature should take its course and you shouldn't mess with it. And then there's the problem of the Baxter Road. Eventually, we're responsible for that road, and so if it disappears, we're going to be in a jam like we were at Sheep's Pond, where now by law we have to provide a road for access to people's houses.
Well,
I could be wrong on that, but
you mean if they have to move their houses even?
but say all those houses get wiped out and
Yeah.
Baxter Road gets wiped out.
Yeah.
Now how do you access the house that's left? There's no road behind his house.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So you'd have to.
Now you got to take
All
land
right.
by eminent domain. I don't know. It's a big mess. But anyway, I'd like to see a small project take place. And hopefully we're
Yeah.
going to get to vote on that at town meeting.
Yes. Do you think that town employees are paid too much?
I don't think the regular, maybe unionized employees are paid too much. I think there's a few managerial people that make a pretty good salary. But
Okay.
yeah.
So maybe we could look at those?
Yeah, and I think we finally had a discussion at the FinCom that this year, after town meeting's over and the dust clears, that we're going to sit down and have a conversation of just where the money's going in general, because we can't seem to fund any capital projects because the money's just disappearing too quick. We have to have an override every time we want to fix something. So we've got to determine where the money's going and whether or not we can do something about it. So that's one of the things I like to focus on more, is the money and the infrastructure. And I know all these other things are important to people, windmills and human services and whatever other. But we spend a lot of time. I think we spent, I can't even add up the hours, talking about paid parking downtown, and then we just dropped it.
Right. And did we fund that too? Was that
Oh,
funded?
I don't know.
Did
I'm sure
do
we
a
funded
study?
too. Well, I'm sure we do plenty of studies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and even to bring back the windmill, we spent a lot of time this year of our tax money and resources looking at the windmill, when I think a lot of that shouldn't be, tax money to look into, to those things. There's a lot of private. I mean, just Common Sense Nantucket. Look at the work they did. That didn't cost the taxpayers any money. They came up with a huge amount of information.
Mm-hmm.
It was free.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Anyway.
Do you think that the BOS should negotiate on union contracts?
Well, I think they should develop a philosophy, and I think that's they get into these executive sessions so nobody can say too much to you. But I think that's one of the conversations we're going to have is they've recognized that, I guess, not just the pay, but the biggest problem we have, and we have it throughout the whole country, and private business has it, is the Blue Cross and Blue Shield insurance, health insurance in general. I mean, your health insurance is going up 15% year over year. So when you have Proposition 2.5 and you're relying on growth, which we don't have, and you have expenses that are growing at 15%, it's not, you don't have to be a mathematician to figure out that's not working too well. And it's nobody's fault. It's not the employee's fault. It's not, the presidential election is going to be decided on health care. It's been decided on health care the last election. So I think it's going to be something we just all face, no matter whether you're a town or a businessman. It's sucking the life out of us financially.
Are you in favor of keeping as much town government downtown?
That was the question this week in the Inquirer Mirror. Me personally, I don't go downtown and conduct business and then stay downtown and spend money. I don't really shop in those shops downtown. I think they're geared more towards the tourists for the summer. So I think the accessibility is so much easier. I'll go out Fairgrounds Road. I don't think the parking is just such an issue, especially in the summertime, for the employees and for the public trying to get down there to get any kind of a permit, which I stated that in the newspaper that I think we should. And I think we're trying to work with other towns throughout the Cape to come up with we're all going to buy this one software program so you can go on and do permits online so you don't even have to go downtown at all.
Well, that's a good idea.
There you go.
So you're in favor of keeping everything pretty much at fairgrounds?
Exactly. Those the building department where it is, the planning department where it is, and then just keep the finance department and the deeds office and everybody else. It's the town administration, Libby's office, just right where it is.
Do you think the police station's too big? The new one?
Well, what happens, just like any building, whether it's federal, especially if it's paid for with federal money or state money, you got to meet certain codes. Just like if you go out to the airport and you look at the ARF building, you go up into the building, it's got these two huge furnaces. I'm saying to myself, why do we have these two huge furnaces? It says, when you build a building, that's the requirement. That's what you have to use. These are the things the mandates you have to meet by federal regulations. So I've been through the police station. We have all the cells. It's a lot of office space, but hopefully, I think Officer Gibson made the point that hopefully we built it to grow into it. I know we've already grown into the parking lot because you go there for a meeting and there's no parking.
Yeah, right.
But I know that it looks, it's kind of a downtown type structure out of town. But I think everybody had a hand in that between the HDC and the original plan. I wasn't involved in it, but the two meeting rooms are well used. So hopefully we're saving money from people having to meet at the high school and leave the lights on at the high school and have a janitor stay over. And so at this point, I hope it's too big so that we don't need one for a long time.
I probably know what you're going to say, how you're going to answer this one. Are you in favor of upgrading the old police station?
Well, that comes...
That's the FinCom.
Right, and that comes to the whole... the reason we shot it down this year is because the Board of Selectmen set a goal of 12% of our budget being debt service, and we're already at 16% if you include the airport and all the other enterprise funds. So it made our job simple at FinCom, because you don't even have to argue the point, because if we're going to follow your goal of the debt service, we're already too high. So we voted not to recommend, or whatever actual words we used.
Right.
So, but eventually, I mean, that's a goal of ours. I mean, the Mooney building is a piece of junk. So my answer was also a question in the newspaper that, you know, we should sell the Mooney building, but obviously we have to overhaul the old police station, fire station first, and visitor services was part of that. And so, I mean, I think we're going to have that meeting, like I said, with the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee, who, by the way, don't meet. And if you look at the mission statement, that's what I've tried to do while I've tried to learn this job, is find what everybody's mission statement is, what your goals are supposed to be, what your responsibilities are supposed to be. And basically the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee are supposed to meet and design a financial plan for the town. And we really don't do that. We don't meet. I've never been in any, like I said, I've only been there 2 years, but I think this meeting we're going to have after town meeting is going to be a really productive one. I hope it's productive to start doing that, work as a team versus, you know, supposed to be working together. Did I answer that question? That was long.
I think you got to it. Yeah.
But anyway, we can't overhaul anything until we find the money. I don't think we should just keep doing overrides.
Okay, fair enough. That's a good point. Do you think the town manager is too powerful?
Well, that's a good question, because I think town departments used to be able to come in front of the Finance Committee, and if the town manager wanted to cut their budget, they could lobby maybe against it. I think this is how it used to work. Like I said, I've only been around 2 years. They're not really allowed to do that anymore, now that we've made Libby the town official manager, administrator, or whatever technical word is. So that's kind of up in the air. I need to study that more, because I don't know if we've advanced forwards or backwards by doing that.
Sure. Will you be able to work well, do you think, with the other members on the board? And what's your opinion of the way it's going right now?
I think this year the board's probably worked better than in past years. Last year it almost seemed like there was a feud every meeting. Not to throw out names, but certain individuals voted yes, the other side voted no, you know. So I think I can work well with the other board. I just try to take the high road, and like I said, I've tried to learn what my job would be and what my job is on the Finance Committee, and try to follow the guidelines of the town. You know, one of the things, I work for the federal government. There's a book that tells you what to do. If you want to do something, there's an order that tells you how to do it. And, you know, the Department of Revenue tells us how to run the town. So I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm just trying to follow the rules and, you know, give my opinion. And hopefully it's an honest opinion, and it's come with some experience. And hopefully it'll be more of a debate than a fight.
Okay. Who is the best choice next to you for selectmen after yourself? Who would be your choice?
Oh, I haven't thought about that. Bruce was on the Finance Committee, I guess, for a while. I don't know what his record was. I don't know what he's been doing since then. I'm glad that Toby Glidden, the young kid. I like to see young people show up.
Yep.
And get involved. That way they can, hopefully he's there for all the right reasons, and he can educate himself and encourage other young kids to get involved. I don't know. I'd have to flip a coin.
Between those two guys?
Yeah, I've talked to Steve. He's been a selectman before. He's entertaining. But I'd say Bruce because he has experience.
Yeah, okay. I put you on the hot seat, didn't
Hey,
I? Huh?
yeah, well, it's not
Yeah,
that hot,
all
but
right.
that is my honest opinion.
All right. So how are you going to manage your time as a Board of Selectmen member? I mean, you're full-time out here, right?
Right, exactly. You know what? I don't spend a lot of time watching TV or any of those things. I don't really, since I got married and had a child, I don't golf anymore. I don't do a lot of things, you know. So, and I'm just interested in it. I find it, you know, I think it's productive. So I think I've learned more and more, and I think I've grown more and more as a person and with the knowledge of how things work, and it's just interesting to me. So I just try to find the time. Like I think everybody has to find the time to get involved at a certain level, you know.
You bet. And I think I know this answer. Are you in favor of Sachem's path?
Well, that was the argument I had, is trying to find out my role in the finance department. And as on the board of selectmen, I always kind of am bothered when someone brings a group of people, whether it's the zoning board of appeals or the planning department, brings something, and it's all been planned out, and a lot of people have gone to meetings, and they seem to pick it apart, when I think they should be either voting yes or no, because there's all these ramifications, especially when it comes to zoning, of whether things were done properly. So when they brought that to the finance committee, that CPC funding's already been voted in by the board of Selectmen, by the town meeting. So that's where the funds are supposed to go. So it's not whether I agree or disagree with low-income housing. As a board member in the finance committee, I thought we should be making a decision on whether or not it was an appropriate, you know, allocation of the money. So that's what I was looking towards. But then it's, I guess the argument's expanded into, is the need really that big? Because there's 40 houses and there's only been, I think, 15 applicants so far.
Weren't they given, though? I mean, you know, under the context of that, they were kind of like they were given the okay.
Well, initially they were given some money from last year
Yeah.
to go ahead and right, exactly. So now the argument.
Now they're like, wait a minute, why is this happening? You know, I'm sure they're shocked.
Right. So I guess what a lot of people look at it and say the market's so bad, the way the housing is now, they say there's comparable houses out there on the market. And I've heard people say yes, and I've heard people say no. So yeah, that's an argument they're going to have to figure out on town meeting floor.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think the appropriation was correct.
Right.
I guess it's going to be the people's vote whether or not they feel that. I guess they don't want another failed 40B. We've got 40Bs that are half empty now,
Right.
but this is a lot different than the other 40Bs. So yeah, it's the whole thing about it is the way this town government works is it seems like we don't talk about subjects very much in depth, and then all of a sudden we try to jam it into about a 2-month period in order to get it on the warrant, and it's just almost like it's not enough enough time. It's just, you know, to make a good decision. So I think we're going to just have to fight that out on town meeting floor, whether or not that we fund it or not fund it. But it's not like it's going away. It's still, you know, next year there's more money for it. Under the CPC funding.
Well, that's right, but they're worried that the whole project could just collapse if it doesn't happen this time. I mean, that's what
It's just
Rich Brannigan was saying.
I know.
That's all right. Well, anyway, what volunteer committees would you want to sit on as a BOS member?
You know, I was talking to Bobby DeCosta about that. You mean the irregular appointed, like the CPC or yeah.
Well, you
or
know,
SHAP.
the sewer committee. You sit on the finance.
Yeah, you know what? I think the Board of Selectmen should delegate if they need another person on those boards. I think you do enough as it is. I don't think you should be micromanaging the town. I think that you should have those people come to you. It's already a huge job versus trying to be on all those boards on top of being on the Board of Selectmen.
Right. Yeah, I mean, right. I agree with you.
If you go to meetings the rest of your life.
But if you have the time and you know, you can afford to do that,
Yeah, yeah.
not everybody can, and
No.
we all come from different aspects of life, and we represent a different group of people.
Right, and
That's what's so
and when
great
when we keep making the jobs, you know, much more. We're going to be city councilmen pretty soon because it's going to be a full-time job. You're not going to have people like me that are going to run because I can't go to a meeting every single night.
Exactly. Well, that's pretty much it. Would you like to address the voters and say anything else that I may not have covered, or?
No, I'm just looking for your vote. I think I've put in the time, the effort over the last 3 years. Seems like 100, but anyway, no, come out and vote, and I hope you vote for me. I hope I can. All the work I've done is going to pay off, and hopefully I make some sense and make good decisions for the town.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you.